Hi, I'm going to try and put a quick demo together to show you how to get a custom report to show child items and repeat over them just quickly. So if I show you the data I've got, just really quickly, I've got two child items in this child design, Leia and Luke, and I've got a parent design called sorry, with a single item in called Anakin Skywalker, and he links to those two children. So Anakin with two children. So if I then head back over to Report Builder and create a custom report, so I'm going to make the Star Wars report as an example. I'm going to apply it to parents. So parent design, which is the one with Anakin in, linking to the two children. If I click create, I'm going to head into the report builder. I need to create a data source now, so what you already have is probably a parent data source or the equivalent, which is using the item data source and is connecting that up to the parent item. So out in the real world, this might be a street lamp or a job, something that's coming in as the parent. So if I type parents in here, I've got my parent design. I'm going to leave that as is. I then need to, so if you use this now, you're going to get the same result that you're seeing, which is essentially the count being displayed in the final report. So what I actually need to do is load up some extra items to push them into the report, and we do that through another data source. So I'm going to create a children data source, and I'm going to set that to type AQS. I'm going to then set that to the child design that I have, because I know that parent links the child. So in your case, you'll obviously have to set that up in whatever the relationship is there. I'm interested in a particular attribute, so I just want description, but you can select as many as you want. I'm going to put a default query in just to make things quicker, and I'm just going to leave it blank, so it's going to load up all children into this second data source. Okay, so I've got a data source which has a single item parent in, and a data source which has all children in. So you could imagine this being all job work items off a job, or all types enumerated against a certain parent. But at the minute there's no relationship between these, so you won't be able to get them to display in a report and get them to iterate and connect them together. All you would be able to do is iterate over the parents and then iterate over the children. So you just get two sections in a report. It doesn't connect them together very well. So to connect them together, you need to make a join data source. So I'm going to call this children for parents. This is going to act as a bit of a filter connecting these two together. So I can use the join data source, and I'm going to join from the parent, which has a children attribute on it, the link attribute. So I'm going to use that to connect from to the children data source that we're populating here. And the way these are connected is by item ID, so I need to choose item ID. So the link attribute children is going to be an array of item IDs, and I'm going to connect that onto the children item ID, the record identifier. That's going to create a data source for me. So now I've got a join data source that should be connecting the correct children to the parent that we're providing. And when we go and build our document now, we've got all the data sources in place to be able to do that. So if I just make a quick document just to show this, what we can do is we can put a title in here. So let's just use the the parent as the title. So I'm going to put the description of the parent in here, and let's put the text style to something different just so we can see it a bit differently. There we go. Then you're going to use the repeater control, which will let us iterate over one of these data sources. So I dropped in the repeater there. We need to set the data source on the repeater, and we're going to use that children for parents. We don't want to use children because it'll iterate through every single child in the data source, and what we specifically want is the children that are linked to the parents by the relationship they have. So if I click on this, I can then choose the header that the repeater is going to iterate on. There's more documentation on this in the help system, but essentially what I need to do is pick the unique field that it's going to iterate over, and we know the unique field for our children is item ID, You could equally pick name, but if you had children with the same name, it would group those together. Um, just be careful when you're in this data source. The join data source will concatenate all the attributes together and all the headers together. So you'll see that there are actually two item IDs. However, one's come from the children for parents and one has come from the parent itself. So specifically, you want the children for parents. Otherwise, all that's going to happen is it's going to group by the parent item ID, and that is available on all of them. So you'll just get one row. But if I pick this, now we're successfully iterating over the join data source that we created, and I can create a subcontrol. So let's put a text in there, and I'm going to connect that up as the final piece to the parent context repeater. So I don't want to use any of these. I want to use the context that the repeater is generating for me, as it is doing the iteration. If I go into this, again, same situation, because I'm now in the repeaters context, which is using that join data source. You've got a mixture of headers because the join data source is joining them together. So you've got a mixture of things that are on the parent and things that are on the child. And specifically, we want the child one. So I'm going to use the last description in here to use the child's description. That should be everything. You could go ahead and put more controls in, but I'm just going to save that. That is done. If I come out of here and then I click run report, I should have a Star Wars report. Nice. So if I run that now, set the parent, got a couple of parents. I've got one parent in my system, but I've got more children. So what we should see here is a test output. We should see those two child items, and it should have filtered out Chewbacca if everything has gone according to plan. Excellent, there we go. If I open this one up now, there we have it. Anakin Skywalker as the parent and the two children that have been repeated over. And you can use this technique to make more complex reports. You can even nest them. It's all about just getting the join attributes in the right order and picking the right thing to iterate over. Hope that helps.